Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scottish Silverback Podcast. And we're joined today by Mr. Universe and Mr. Pro Universe, Josh Maley. And another guy looking for his super heavyweight title in British and pro card and all of that good stuff that comes with it. So, how you getting on, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm tail end of the prep now because it's been a long year. And I feel all right. You've caught me off the back of 2 high days. So if I seem in a really good mood and if I'm sweating profusely, that is why.
I can see that wee glaze on the top of your head, mate.
I know. I was just like, can I adjust my light? Or I'll roll with it. It's part and parcel of it.
So when did you start dieting for the past show?
I think it was around about February time that I kind of started dieting. But obviously the initial plans with everything that was going on were a bit vague. But I'm someone like, I don't mini cut, like I don't recomp, like it's either prep or not prep.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I got to the point where my off season was heavy, I was good, but I was just if I pushed it, I would have just got fatter. So I was like, it's been a year and a bit since I prepped. Let's get something going, and then just sort of pace it. And I've paced it pretty well. Obviously, like now it's 2 weeks after the last show, 3 weeks before Portugal. So it's that sort of interim where there's a bit to get better, but at the same time, you kind of hang in a bit.
Yeah. What shows are you aiming to do? You going to do the Two Bros British, or are you aiming to go Portugal?
So I'm doing Portugal, definitely. Like in my head, I just think of the process. I don't really think about the potential. So it's Portugal, Two Bros British, Alicante. So there's 2 weeks between the three shows. So yeah, that would be a good run of pro qualifiers. See how I go. And obviously, in an ideal world, you can call it a day at one of them.
Yeah. So the last show you done before that Two Bros qualifier would that have been the Pro Universe?
It was the Maley Europeans, which was like 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
I just had a little holiday there.
No, look, class, mate. I was going to ask you, obviously, being a Mr. Universe and a Pro Mr. Universe, because when I say to people that, like, my ultimate goal at one point was to win a Mr. Universe, that I considered that higher than an IFBB Pro card. Not higher, but that was more of a goal to me. And obviously, being a Mr. Universe yourself, do you consider that title to be as obviously you don't know how well you do, I just explained it, but how prestigious that kind of title is to me. You get what I'm saying? Like,
no, I think like I never set out to be Mr. Universe. Like none of this ever kind of came up on my radar until like I think the first year I did it was 2015. I think I came maybe like second of the British, and then like went on and did the whole season because the British when I was middle of the year, and then I came third, and I was like, fucking hell, that's amazing. Like, I knew it was a big deal, and I think because it was such a big deal, I'd never like dared to consider it. But then obviously kind of knowing that it wasn't unrealistic, it became kind of much more of a thing. And like, to look back on some of the kind of people who've won it before, it feels weird, like when you introduce me and stuff like that and people say it, like I think I'll be like the old guy who like talks about it loads, whereas right now I just don't really think about it because I'm still in the moment.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's kind of what drawn me to it, was the names of some of the people that have just have held that title. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the way I saw it was, if like, obviously we all know that Arnold had that title at one point. Like, I'm never going to be Mr. Olympia, so there's no point in trying to emulate him with that title. But I know the universe is achievable. So that's kind of the way I saw it, and I thought that'd be pretty cool to kind of to go from there. So no, it's good to hear kind of like your thought process on like, you're not actually like titles. You're just thinking of like a continual process going forward in that.
Yeah, I think because I started off as such a like skinny shit bodybuilder, like. So like all I've been doing, like I think some of these guys, I don't know if you class yourself, but obviously as a junior you were like fucking fantastic. Do you know what I mean? and like people kind of looked at you and thought there's a guy with potential. Like people looked at me when I started and didn't see me because I was that fucking narrow. So like I've just been like, I'll get better, I'll get better, and then along the way you just like hit these little milestones, and then like suddenly sort of now you can look back and be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I've done all right.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
When you started, obviously, like you felt like you were probably a bit mismatched for where you're meant to be. Like you felt skinny, you didn't feel you had the size in that. Did you feel like that was going to hold you back, or did you just love what you were doing? Did you just love the competing side of things, or did you just know in your head you were going to get to where you needed to be and you're going to have the size one day to be a competitive bodybuilder?
I think it was just like a combination of being really fucking naive and being really stubborn. Like I didn't really appreciate when I started that bodybuilders weren't particularly tall. Like I'd look at like kind of Jake Cutler and people and be like, no, he's probably like 6'2", 6'3", like not too much shorter than me. Whereas like in reality, I've known it then, maybe I'd be like, oh fucking that's an effort. So I just kind of, I remember the first I competed, I knew like obviously like I looked out of place, but I remember how much I enjoyed it. I think that I love structure, I love routine, I love the lifestyle, but then to have that kind of passionate kind of love for, I don't know what it was like on stage, just I got an absolute buzz from it. I didn't find any negatives, and it was like I thought, okay, well, this is something that I want to experience again, but I want to make sure. And yeah, that was pretty much how the ball started rolling.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of like I know with all three of us, it's the process itself. It's the process of getting in shape and those 16 to 12 weeks of prep. It's that you fall in love with that, and you fall in love with your body changing every day, and I think don't get me wrong, I love being on stage as well. It's an absolute buzz. I think I've explained in a previous podcast, like I pretend to be like a character on stage, like this like kind of like uber confident, fucking arrogant type character that I can't pull off in real life. And but yeah, it's about kind of loving the process and that. And if you for anyone kind of listening and thinking about competing, if you enjoy that part, then the end is just that kind of like just that icing on the cake. It's when you love just dieting hard and working hard, this is kind of obviously the best thing you can possibly do. So again, it's good to hear someone like yourself just like talking about the process all the time, because it's
it's just about enjoying like the kind of hard work, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter off season or prep. Like someone asked today, Q&A, what do I prefer, prep or off season? Probably prep, to be fair, just because at least like the hard work, you look shit hot with it. Whereas like off season, I just fucking bloated walrus and like oh, I'm a bodybuilder. Everyone's like, oh, you're strong. I'm like, no, I'm not strong.
So just let the viewers know, like, how tall are you, and like obviously what's some of the weights you kind of get up to in your off season stuff?
So I'm 6'6". Off season just gone, finished 340 pounds. And then there I am. I was like, what's going on? Off season just gone, finished at 340 pounds, and then I'm about, well, this morning after one high day I was 297. Probably be back up with tomorrow, and then at my lowest this prep I've been 92. So I think sub 90 is there to be like as conditioned as I can kind of get to, while kind of maintaining fullness, because that's kind of my biggest balancing, I suppose, as a tall guy.
Yeah.
When I look flat, I look softer and I look shit as hell. So
yeah, I mean, we've had two of your clients on already. We've had Josh and Nathan, and like we both spoke to them about obviously like coming to you as a coach because you understand what is more needed being a bigger and taller guy. And I think obviously trying to keep that full, so obviously you've got so much more muscle, but obviously in lengthened limbs, and trying to keep that full is going to be a challenge in itself. So I think obviously
and it is
being a tall guy.
Yeah. I think like for me this year, like I can diet. We can all hammer ourselves into the ground. Like sure, you know, you guys have that ability to dig as deep as you need to go. It's not a problem. It's not a problem for me, but it's like I coach myself, and it is very much the kind of holding back on just dieting and being smart with it. And it's been a lot more engaging and kind of fun this year because I've got a better understanding of it. But yeah, you're always trying to crack that secret which doesn't exist.
I've always wanted to ask you. Sorry, Greg. Hold on. I had it 2 seconds ago. Oh, where was it? That fashion show you done.
Oh yeah.
How did that come about?
Like literally, these people just email me on Instagram and or message me on Instagram, and like you know, I'm sure you get some weird messages on Instagram. So like you got to be a little bit careful. And I was like, this just sounds strange. And they like invited me down to London for like just a meeting and stuff. And you know, I did as much research as I could. It seemed kind of legit. And yeah, it turned out they were like a kind of fashion company that specialized in sort of like environmentally friendly. That was like pretty much peak off season as well. Cheers, mate.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. But like, it was just one of those things. I was like, you can't turn this down. So yeah, got involved. Had a good time. I've got a lot of respect for models, though. My God, it's a fucking like, it's a long day for like. It's worse than bodybuilding. You know how like when you're class 1, you're on at the end of the day. Like, and you're there for 8 hours. These models are there, obviously, like they all got to get hair, makeup, and stuff, and then it's like you're on that runway for like 1 minute, like it's less than the bodybuilding show, and I was like, Jesus Christ, knackered, man. And then of course they're all like, "Oh, we're going now." I'm like, "I'm going to bed and getting some food." Yeah.
One of the questions we always ask the tall guys is like, do you find it, or have you found it hard to grow certain body parts, obviously with being the taller person?
I have, but I don't think it's necessary to be tall. I just think it's kind of where I'm genetically limited. Like my arms are a fucking battle. My upper body generally has been, you know, kind of that's the thing that is consistent every year. I don't get feedback because we know what we need to improve on, but like I'll look at photos and I'll be like more chest, more shoulders. My back's been okay, but still you can never have too big a back. Obviously, kind of for a tall guy, my legs are a strong body part, like quads anyway. But yeah, arms, I think for me, like just something that I think I've got like a good thing going now, but we'll see.
You like to tell us what it is?
It's nothing crazy. It's just I found a few exercises that really I connect with, and I found a frequency that I feel I can get away with without compromising sort of overall volume, basically. So yeah, pretty much you know, nothing we don't know, but it's just finding that. For me, it's the exercises that actually, like, you know, I can curl all day long, but I can like not feel it, and what's the point? So yeah, there are some certain movements that really hit the spot, and I can do like 2 sets and be like, oh, I think I've got a bicep. So
you said you're coaching yourself now. Who did you work with prior?
So I've not worked with anyone since I started, really. Like in 2010 and 2012, I worked with a local bodybuilder. Only because I literally was like, one of my colleagues at the time was like, you know, you take this quite seriously, why don't you try? And I was like, I wouldn't know where to start. And he was like, oh, I'll talk to so-and-so. And he was like old school, like, which was good because it instilled that sort of hard work ethic. Like I remember my 2012 prep, I came to him like 16 weeks out. He was like, got some work to do. It's 2 hours cardio a day. 16 weeks out for like 16 weeks straight. So I was like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's get the worst preps out of the way early doors. So again, once you've done that, you know you can do anything. You know you can push, and you know that, you know, if I need to do 2 hours cardio a day, I can. But the whole point is I'm smarter now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Suppose,
I love those preps.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about like kind of coaching yourself as well, is that you might have, I think the stress of coaching yourself, I felt when I kind of did it myself, was the stress levels are way higher and you're constantly doubting yourself as well, but you also make big mistakes that you never will replicate ever again, and you know that going forward, so you learn very quickly doing that. Whereas I find with if you've always been coached from day one, and I think that's when you might miss out on a wee bit of kind of the whole educational side and kind of learning your body and stuff like that. So
yeah, like for me, it's just like, because obviously, like I said, I didn't really kind of break into bodybuilding in terms of no one really gave a shit who I was. Like, so when 2012 passed, I was like, I didn't compete for 2010, 2012. I knew I needed more time, so I didn't compete again 2014. And like when that sort of prep came about, it was like, well, do I want to do this? And the main thing that kind of got me through was the challenge of doing it myself.
Yeah.
And I was like that sort of added pressure, or like experience really. So I did it, and then it turned out like obviously I'd had a good 2-year off season anyway, so I put on some size, and then I won my first. I won like my first NABA Midlands or something, and from there, like within NABA, like people started to sort of kind of know me, and obviously that kind of it's always nice for the ego. So
yeah. Do you have like a second pair of eyes, like someone who you trust who looks at you?
No.
Oh really?
No.
So it's completely like absolutely
totally you.
Because the thing is, like in the past, like in kind of 15, 16, 17, I'm still good mates with them. I just don't see them as much. But I saw like Max O'Connor and Rich Gosdecki quite a bit, and they'd like look over and they'd always be brutally honest, and that was always kind of welcome. But since then, obviously I train with Jamie, but it's a funny one. Like I look up to Jamie a lot, and like I'd almost feel like, I don't know, like intimidated posing in front of him, if that makes sense. Like it sounds ridiculous because we're like best mates, and I know that he would just be as he should be.
Yeah.
But I suppose because of that, I've just sort of done my own thing even more. And at the end of the day, like if you're working hard, like I know how good training's been this past year, and I know I've not dieted like a complete arsehole. I know I've not kind of done anything stupid. So there's only one outcome if you could kind of keep your shit together. So that's the balance and act I'm fighting with right now.
Do you feel the last year or something, training with Jamie's probably been your best year?
It's definitely been the best in recent years. They've all been good. Like I suppose for me, I gauge bodybuilding how much I enjoy it. Like I've never not enjoyed it, so I've never had a bad year. But if we look at like scale weight and how I'm looking, 292 is 10 pounds heavier than my lightest from the 2019 prep, which I've not put on that amount of size. If like I said, probably a couple of pounds more to come off.
Yeah.
But I've not put on more than maybe 2-3 pounds a year for several years. So to then maybe put on like what's near a sort of 4 or 5 pounds, maybe even more, because it's kind of like a year and a half, is shows that it's been a fucking good year, and it's been a fun year as well.
Yeah, definitely.
You were talking about kind of your issues with staying full. Like what kind of, like, give us an example of what you were doing nutritionally, like towards, just say like the point in prep where like you're always having to do, your body changes rapidly. So what were you kind of doing, just say like at a 3-4 week out mark?
So like, I start having like kind of high carb days, like from like this is like I prepped for quite a long time. Like I don't know how many weeks this prep's been, but like for the past probably 12 weeks, I've been having like a high carb day at least once a week. And then like at the beginning when I started introducing them, if my weight was dropping, I may have like another one midweek. To be honest, for me, I find like the best way of doing it is like doing a midweek one. Just don't feel like dieting hard enough. I know that sounds like and I also don't always know if it's enough time to really assess if you're then going to like make the drop. So you just kind of bouncing up and down, but not actually go down any. So yeah, I've been having sort of like high days every Saturday, or sometimes like this weekend 2 high days, and then going from there, and just being sort of like smarter with my food. Whereas in the past, as I progressed through it, almost for the sake of it, I've reduced food just because like I want to put harder. Like, I get to a point where my weight and my look are good, but my weight might be coming down by like a pound, half a pound a week, including a high day. The kind of the person inside me wants to keep dropping, but I'm deliberately like holding. So yeah, it's just been a little bit more smarter and confident, I think, with the kind of coaching myself.
Yeah. What would a typical high carb day call? What high day look like in terms of
so yesterday was like 1200. That was like 6 meals of 200 carb, 40 protein, and then I have some fats in as well, because otherwise it just all burns through it. So about 20 fats.
Yeah.
And I keep it like, this year has been different because previous years I've had more like cereals and cereal bars and stuff like that. And to be honest, they're all well and good, and you can shit a load of carbs in, but it kind of tips my digestion. This year it's been pretty much, I start the day off with like a massive bowl of oats. That's like lovely, because normally I'm fucking starving for it. But like, that's like, I couldn't do that more than once. So that, get out of the way, that satisfies like a nice amount of fullness. Yeah. And then from there it's like rice, jasmine rice, some fruit, some bagels, like bagels with jam. So yeah, like it's normally like a cream of rice and a banana meal, followed by jasmine rice, bagel and jam. Yeah, and then like I said, it just seems to, yeah, like yesterday I was fucking starving all day. It was mad. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's what I feel when I do a high carb day. Like you get so excited for it, and when you know it's coming, but then the next day, like, you feel 10 times worse because your blood sugar is through this, and your appetite's just through the roof. I'd rather just stay on fucking no carbs and just feel shite constantly, rather than this kind of peaks and valleys.
That's why I know like it's a good thing, because like today I've done the same but 5 meals instead of 6. So I'll have one more after this, and even now, like, I'm still hungry, like I feel great, like I'm looking like I looked at myself earlier and like I was like definitely like considerably fuller. Like a little turtle baby, but apart from that, you know, I look like a bodybuilder, you know what I mean? Cool.
So like,
obviously, so obviously the aim this year is the pro card. What have you been aiming for that for a few years? Like, obviously when you were doing like NAB and stuff like that, was it just really you wanted to kind of develop your physique to the point it is now and just say, right, it's me, I'm going to step on stage and go for pro?
Yeah, I mean, like, I always feel like people don't believe me when like I say these things, and they're trying to think like I'm like stupidly like humble or something. But like, I've never considered a pro card. This year, my thought process was, I just want to kind of see, like, you know, like I said, I'll be my best. Like, I don't like pressure. I don't know who does really, but like, I don't like talk either. So like, you know, I'm not one of these who's going to hashtag road to pro and, you know, all that jazz. I'm just going to go out there, put myself out there, and to be fair, I have thought about like the switch to IFBB in the past, and I've just never thought I was good enough, and I'm still not sure, because until I stand on, you know, a stage at that like pro qualifier level, like I'm not going to know. Like it's Jamie's gone before me as a taller bodybuilder, but at the same time, he is still a bodybuilder to me. So it's how I'm going to look in a lineup with super heavyweights who are, you know, thicker and denser and have certain attributes that I don't have, and then I obviously have certain attributes that I've got. So yeah. Of course, I want a pro card, and I think this year has galvanized the fact that I do want that. And like I will work for that now until I get it. But until this year, it was like, just keep going.
See what happens.
Yeah,
see what happens.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
No, you're very quiet in your approach. You don't like say your plans, which is an amazing thing. I mean, obviously, me and Andy share a little bit about our progress. We want to kind of put it out there and let everybody know what we're doing. But you're very quiet about your approach, and it's just like you just turn up, and it's just like
I think this year was different because like I was switching and I was like I just wanted to kind of get that first shot of the way. Like I'm happy to talk about everything I'm doing now moving forward, but you know, I've no issue with people doing whatever they like, you know, however they. You guys are good because you know you're just real. You know what I mean? Like you share your progress, you share your goals. That's cool. Like Jamie, he's very vocal about what he wants to achieve. And I don't think look at him and think, oh, like what an idiot or what a prick. I think fucking that's so cool. Like that's confidence, one thing. But like it's also like realistic. Whereas you know my issue is with people who are year one, and then it's like go for this pro card, man. Like fucking, I think I can do it, and you're like, you not yet.
Not yet. There's so much to do.
No, it's when you see guys who haven't even like they wouldn't know a solid session if they smacked him in the face. Like it's I mean I think we said this. I think it was last week with Brad that it's like people are taking like 20 steps forward before they've kind of like nailed the basics. I mean, like you've been competing since 2010, so that's going on 11, 12 years. So that's an indicator. And I put up like a side tricep transformation a few days ago, and I was like, I need to put into the caption like, look, this is 10 years, 10 fucking years. I'm still not a pro. I'm not even attempted to become a pro yet. You know what I mean? So you're right. I think people just want that glory at the end and have not just ironed out the kinks in their approach and like nutrition and training, and it's baffling to me I get some guys who come to me like who have competed, and you put them through like their first exercise on legs and they're fucked. You're like, mate, I felt like you're supposed to be a competitive physique bodybuilder, whatever, and I've just fucking beaten you with one exercise, mate. Like, so it is quite scary when you see that. But I think now, like, the more guys like us three, and there's a dozen more as well, who kind of just keep preaching that, just the basics, keep the movement simple, keep the training as high intensity as possible, and basically just ensure that you're destroying yourself with every single session. And there's no way you can't improve doing that. And
that's it.
Yeah, I think Greg's touched on it before, is like the way like the British guys train compared to everyone else around the world is quite unique in my opinion. You know, it's the way we train, like that kind of 1-2 sets, complete all out failure. That's as much as it is part of like the British style of training, it's still missing from a lot of the grassroots boys and the guys and the girls that are coming up. So it's kind of something.
Should be bred into us, really. I mean, like Dorian was the kind of the father of British bodybuilding, really, and he's just like, everybody's realised what he achieved, and it's like there must be something right in his fucking soup he was giving himself, so everybody's got to fucking live from that. And it's like, you still look at James now.
Yeah, and Dorian's a great example because he's one of those who, like, you see the early pictures and like he's just a normal kid. Like there's never been like, you know, even when Roddy was not as good as he was, he still looked like insane, and like you could see that potential. Whereas like, you know, we've all seen thousands of people who like kind of Dorian when he had that kind of shitty little curly hair, and you know, and look what he did. Yeah. So,
I think there's plenty of people like that just now. Like obviously James and that speak about it, and it's like I've got to compare myself to these people. Like I'm not a Phil Heath, I'm not a Ronnie Coleman, but like you look at your Hunters, James, and like you even look at them like 5 years ago, they weren't close to what they are now, and like they've busted their ass every single day to get to the level they're at, and it was just damn hard work. Where some people just weren't given that. Like when obviously Phil could look at a fucking dumbbell and grow 20 pounds. It's like that genetic fucking piece is not in certain people, and it's like British people know, like, we're fucking white. And it's like, we've got to really bust our ass to get to these kind of genetics where these guys are given it, and we're just not. And it's like, it's the hard work in the British bodybuilders that really just shines through, I feel, throughout the world. It's just, you can't match that.
Yeah, no, it's a great scene, like it is, and it's there's so many good, like great guys like yourselves, and like I say, so many of the people who have been around like a long time, like kind of the past 10 years, like there's a lot of us who have sort of kind of come through now, and sure, still at various levels, but all sort of making progress, and that's what it's about. And I think that's the most realistic representation. Is like I started at similar times as certain people who are now pro. But like, it's not like I've worked any less, or any kind of less hard. It's just like there is going to be a genetic element to it. But what is bodybuilding to you? And I think for me, it's just being the best version, and more importantly, a better version than last time. So if you're doing that, happy days.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's just like, there's sometimes, it's like I was going to say, there's just that hard work. People don't realize the time. Like Andy just said there, like that transformation he put up was like 10 years in the making, 9 years in the making, or whatever. It's like, people are not willing to invest that much time into that goal, that are like, fucking hell, 10 years, I might not even become a pro. Like,
it's
what's the point? It's like, you've got to enjoy it. You've got to love that process, and you have got to really envision yourself becoming a pro, or that end goal you're looking for in 10 years' time. Like, I will fucking get there. But some people just can't think that, like, fuck, I could waste 10 years here. I'm willing to waste that time because I believe in myself. Like, that's just something that's kind of missing from a lot of people. Like, when they don't want to train that hard, there's just not that pushing them to go that length. Just don't want to invest.
I think there's also like, it's looking at like all the other things that like bodybuilding is fantastic for, in like the things that we've learned in the last 10 years that have like made us better, better men, better, better businessmen, like progress through in your career. Like for me, the confidence and the sort of, the routine, the time management, all of these skills, like that, if you go to any successful businessman, they'll like preach on about, like, bodybuilding teaches you that. And if you work hard, you look pretty fucking good too. So like, let's like embrace that. And that's the thing I always say is like, everything like that I do that I love right now is down to bodybuilding. So, if and people like, people just want a kind of short and easy way, and that's life. But the ones who have that understanding that good things take time, it's like with anything. Like even these Instagram influencers, like they work hard, like being influencers. It's not my vibe, but it takes a lot of time, like putting on outfits and posting and shit like that. Like everything, you've got to work hard, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Andy, I think we actually said this like years and years ago. Like, we were just like starting out, and we didn't have the online coaching, and we just enjoyed training. We both said to each other, like, can you imagine one day if we just get to wear sweats every day and just train? Like, imagine how good that life is. Like, we're pretty much almost there. Like, I was at our goal. We didn't even think about a fucking pro card. Now we're going for that. Fucking just wear shorts and joggers every day and get to train, and then pretty much living a life off that. It's like, fucking hell, what a dream.
I know. It's so much to be got from it if you're willing to work hard and take time.
I mean, that's taken years and years and years. That's not someone who just like thought, right, fucking next month I'm going to be able to do this. It's like, you need to fucking invest in yourself, and the time and energy you put into everything. You've got to build a reputation, you've got to build a brand, you've got to build so much stuff to actually get close. So it's just a time thing to put into everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you've got obviously you've got a lot of top boys competing as well, because we've had Nathan and Josh on. How do you feel? Like, I've been asked this question before myself, but how do you feel when you're dieting yourself and you're kind of energy levels are dipping and that, and you're prepping guys who are in a similar position? Like, how do you manage that? Is it a struggle? Is it pretty easy, or is it?
To be honest, so like I met up with, obviously Jamie's away at the minute, so I met up with Nath twice last week to train together, and I saw him on the Friday, which is his check-in day as well. And like Fridays when I put all my competitors to check in, because like it just makes sense to me with the weekend. Generally, a show is weekend, so it just means to kind of keep a week ahead. But like I absolutely buzz off of my Friday check-ins, because it's like it now maybe more than ever. Like I get so much out of it. I think this year is really good because, like, I'm super excited because I'm going to be competing. I'm going to be done before anyone else in my team competes. Like, obviously, with the whole kind of pandemic bullshit, like, some people had compromised training, so obviously people really were unsure, and prepping for September, October made the most sense. So yeah, I've got an amazing kind of block of competitions that I'm going to be done with myself, so I don't have to stress about that. But to be fair, I don't care. Like, the Universe last time I did it, I had like 3 other guys and girls competing, and I don't know, I just you love bodybuilding, so as long as they're doing well, like, I don't know how I'd feel about competing against Nathan Josh, only because of maybe what other people would think, like, in terms of like, oh, like, how can he prep them and like give everything 100%, and I kind of get that, but at the same time it wouldn't deter me. But this year's worked out really well that I can put them on stage at their best, be there to support them without any kind of concerns for my own shit.
Well, that happened between me and Greg in 2019 at the PC UK. So I was prepping Greg, and I was asked the same question, as like, how mentally do you do that? And I was just like, well, it's like I have a separate brain. I have a competitor brain, I've got a coach's brain. And with the coach's brain, I can just remove my ego, and I can remove any kind of, because obviously, like, Greg's one of my best mates. So I want him to do well as well, and that always carries through. So for me, there was never any crossover. There was never any doubt in my mind that I was going to separate my coaching ability from my competitor's ability. But then when we were on the stage together, I knew I'd put everything into his prep from a coaching standpoint. So when I was on stage, I was like, my job's done. Now it's time for the competitor mode. And then the time we spent on stage was like, that's honestly still at this stage one of the highlights of my entire bodybuilding career. Even more than some of the wins, because it was a good time. So
it was just overly cool, because it was obviously there was every winner, but then it wasn't just like everybody posed. It was just like you two front of the stage, everybody to the back. So it wasn't even just like everybody battle out and there was just me and Andy other people. It was just me and Andy. I think that was probably quite a cool moment. I guess it'd probably never be emulated again.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're right. It is just about. With myself and do like a check-in. Oh, it's my connection. Okay,
yeah. You're right.
Yeah, you're back.
Fine. Sorry. Yeah, like, I sit down myself and like do a run through a check-in process pretty much, and then like I just crack on with the plans that I make. Like, I don't really think about how I feel, or I look at what's in front of me, kind of data, pictures, and then I make changes, and then we go. So yeah, I get that completely.
Yeah. Right. What we'll do is we'll have a wee look at the Puerto Rico Pro. What's the
heard from Jamie at all, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Say again.
Have you heard from Jamie at all about him being on stage or anything? So I think he's actually posted much. I was looking.
No, I spoke to him this morning on Instagram briefly. He said he was feeling really good, and I know he has been looking really good. But then I've seen like the pictures on. Is this Bodybuilders Without Borders, or one of those ones?
Yeah.
And obviously the top first call out there, he's not made it. I've not seen any pictures like of him, but I don't know. It's tricky. Like, they all look so similar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said to Andy, like, I think that's what it is. It's like it's such a close look. They've went on stage, and Jamie's just so other, and I think that's maybe went against him. I think it's maybe just for this show, which is a massive shame, because he was looking his best by far. Like, so improved from last year, and it's just that look, that lineup there is just like everyone's about the same height. They've all got the same kind of similar structure. I think it's just a shame.
It came out of nowhere as well, because those top three, like Mustafa, Akeem, and Shaban, like, they weren't even like in it like until like a week or so ago. And obviously, like, I know the guy on the end, the French guy Theo, like, Jamie obviously beat him at the British last year, so like, we know that he's got to be there or thereabouts. But it always kind can't even see him in the background, so I have like a little nosy. I did try getting on the live feed, but I couldn't quite figure it out. Like the payment thing looked a bit weird.
Well, I don't understand why they make the live feed so fucking hard to like. Just put like
navigate.
A link and that's it. It comes
play,
up.
and that's it. That's all that's needed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand why they.
Even like the Two Bros things, at least they're kind of simple. It's sort of straight up PayPal and you're good to go.
Yeah,
Whereas this was like, you know, free 7-day trial, put your card details in. It looked like something like a little, I don't know, backstreet blagger had put up. I was like, no, mate, keep that.
I actually didn't think that guy Theo was that big. Like looking at him there, like that's actually fucking impressive.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like that's why I just want to see Jamie up there, because like he's, you know, you saw the picture. Did you see a picture he put in a story of him and Mustafa in the gym?
Yeah,
like he's towered over him. Like, and I know obviously like these guys are gonna probably look thicker from this side shot and, you know, hamstrings and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure the pictures will come. But again,
even from the side, they all look so similar.
Yeah, the top three I think were always going to be the top three, like the Akeem, Hassan, and what was the other boy, Mustafa, his name?
The Egyptian guy.
Yeah, I think they were always going to be the top three, but like that guy on the far left, I didn't see him being there.
Yeah, Presty, that is, isn't it?
I didn't see him being there at all. The guy Theo actually surprised me. I thought the guy Munza looked really good in his photos coming up to the show.
Yeah, like until like the past like couple of days worth of photos, I started to think he looked a little bit smaller and flatter, but maybe they just filled him up really well. But I mean, these guys are nuts. Like, you know, we're talking elite.
Freaky, yeah. There's no beating some of their fuckers.
Mind what we said about. What was that?
Sorry. I was just saying what like Akeem last year was like. What was he, like 6? Did he make top 6?
Yeah,
he was 6 Olympia. That guy on the left there only started training 5 years ago.
Fucking man.
He'd never picked up a weight.
You don't want to tell people.
He never picked up a weight until 5 years ago. That's fucking nuts.
Look at those legs, man.
I know. Ridiculous. And Hassan's actually nailed it today, and like he's not nailed it, but that's his best look by far yet.
Well, I was just about to say Shaban looks way tighter here as well, because mind we said in the last review we done, his midsection was way off, and now look at that, that's crisp.
Yeah, he's actually pulled a vacuum in some of his poses as well, but Hassan looks better, but his back through his legs and glutes and stuff is still not great. But
he's one who is definitely like the best condition I think I've seen him in.
Yeah. Akeem actually looks a lot softer than what he was looking a few days ago, but still amazing.
Yeah. It's just so much. I think sometimes like guys with that, or with almost like so much bubbly muscle, almost like don't look conditioned like ever, if that makes sense. Like
there's just so much muscle until they tense it, it just looks like almost like it's not in condition. Then they hit it and it's like, wow, fucking just pops it.
I remember at the Universe in 2018, you know, the guy who's doing the Arnold, Chul Sung, the Korean.
Yeah.
So like he was backstage in his little tracksuit, and he's one of those bodybuilders who has a fat face. And I thought he was just coaching one of the guys, and then he like kind of took his tracksuit off, and like I was looking, I was like, still not sure if he's competing or not. and then he takes his trunks off, his bottoms off, and he's got his trunks on, and I'm like, fucking hell, like you don't look conditioned. And then like you hit the pose, and you're like, oh fucking hell,
it just comes out there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's slabs of muscle in all of them. They're just fucking thick.
That is just fucking. I love that shit.
His side legs are like unbeatable. The only person who can beat his side legs, Rami.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
I definitely like Akeem most out of these guys.
Same, yeah.
That is just round as fuck. Look at his lats are pointy. They're that round.
Yeah, and he has
running places to go.
Tight waist as well, like fucking arms.
That's just ludicrous, man. That's fucking football sitting in there.
Well, I've actually seen videos of him dieting, and it was literally just like carb-free days, and he was full as a house. I was like, just genetics to fucking keep that full is nuts.
That's the thing with these guys. So when you see like Kevin Roney, like when he used to just like prep for like half a year and it'd be like fish and asparagus.
Yeah.
If I did that, I wouldn't even be like a marathon runner. So like no matter how much gear you put down my neck, it would not make a difference.
It's fucking weird how some of these guys do it. I just don't understand.
They're like made to just hold size no matter what.
His legs like probably fairly fucking great condition. Yeah, it's good. Just so much muscle. It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's just no way beating that much muscle. But I mean, like his legs as well, that's insane.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, like, because they did move him about, it looked like, from some of the top three in the call-outs. But
yeah, I think Akeem or Hassan's definitely one. I think he's fighting for third.
Yeah.
There's just some bits not as great on him as there are on the others. His legs are just like ahead in condition to his
like his quads are like nutty condition, and hams and glutes are kind of not like.
His arms and stuff is not there. Yeah, it's just a touch off compared to other guys.
Yeah, you can see the through the delt, you can see it's just not kind of crisp through. But no, I think he's still sharper than whatever show it was last time that we reviewed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've all come on, but I think Akeem's there. He's definitely improved, but I don't know if he's going to beat Akeem.
Yeah, I'd agree. I fucking love talking about bodybuilding.
So he needs Chad Nichols ASAP.
Good old Chad. Yeah, I mean, like that's a bit of a surprise for that show. I would have said I didn't think that lineup would have been there, but I mean, a couple of guys came in last minute. It's a bit of a shocker.
I think people realise, like, especially the American guys, realise like how stacked the remaining shows in the US actually were, because there's still a lot of big names to qualify and compete.
Yeah,
so many names. So many.
Yeah, I think they kind of went. The Portugal will be interesting, because I think that will be. You won't get many. Like, I don't think you get any kind of Americans really travelling over, so that'll be a very European based vibe.
That fucking arm, Jesus Christ!
Fucking
the size of the small of his chest. His chest is where hit him in the face. I was actually really, well, I wasn't shocked, but I mean, like, amazing for Neil in the classic. That's like he's fighting for top spot. That's amazing.
I saw that.
I mean, he looked amazing. He's fucking dieted. His face is absolute skull mode. I mean,
he was really like, struggling to make weight. I think like he was close to really close to the whatever the weight is for him. So you know you're going to come in shape when you.
The guy he's competing against must have been fucking borderline as well, because they're about similar heights and similar amount of muscle. They must be both just like right on the cusp. And they're both proper dieted.
See, that for me, sorry, going back to San, is like you can see the lines, like the folds there, and softness through the hamstrings and all that. I don't know.
His lower back, you can see it looks like there's almost like water just sitting there. It's just that's what I think about his physique. His physique, like when he hits a pose, all the striations and stuff comes out, but when it's not, it just looks like there's a chunk of water underneath his skin always. I don't know if it's just his genetics or what it is, but it just looks like there's water sitting about everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
you see his lower stomach keep it there.
But again, like he's one of those who like probably could just like really fucking push so hard with the diet, but maybe is just scared. But like he's not losing size, so
no. So we got the 212 here as well. So we were just before you came on, mate. We were talking about Guy Cicinino.
I don't want to slag Guy because obviously he's a great bodybuilder. He's got amazing win stuff as well. But I just feel he looks almost like Branch Warren in his last shows now. Like the age has caught up to his muscle.
He looks a little tired. Yeah, it looks a little like haggard.
Yeah,
and that Piotr, the guy who's next to him, he was like, I'm sure I saw that he was owned like very close to like top end weight as well, and he looks it like he's come in. It's a nice look like for a 212.
You'd think like that's kind of like he'd be. If someone told me he's in classic, I'd be like, oh I see that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's close.
Very, very nice shape.
Yeah.
Definitely get tighter though. You think, but again, sometimes I wonder on these pictures.
Like, I know.
Yeah, because you see them when they're coming up to the show, the conditions absolutely. Like even Neil posted photos there a couple hours ago, and he looked absolutely insane. You look at his stage photos, and it doesn't look anywhere near as crisp. I just wonder if some of the stage shots are just not there.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's very
like
deceiving.
Dry and lean here.
That's Caucasian pale.
That's proper.
That is, I've never seen the sun pale.
Yeah, that's like you, Andy.
I know. I think he's got me beat.
Yeah, that's Casper.
Something so hardcore about like a fucking grainy pale guy though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's those photos of Dennis Wolf at his outside at his pool.
Yeah.
I was like, those shots, I'm like, you can fucking almost see through him. He's so fucking pale.
It's when you're that pale, there's like the little red bits around everywhere because your skin's like that sensitive, because you're that white.
No, my elbows are like, they're like that.
Yeah, that's like borderline and like gingers that can never go out in the sun.
Now look at the classic. Right, so
yeah, Neil's there, like
no Curry.
Well, that guy's obviously taller, so he must have another different weight cut. But I mean, like even that, his frame's pretty filled for classic.
Yeah. No, he looks
Neil's sucked
really,
right in.
good.
Yeah.
Is that the guy on the end? Is he Olympia?
It looked like Terence Ruffin, but it's not.
No, I know it's
Racist.
not Terence. I swear, like, I don't remember what his name is. Like Chris Hunt, yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
I've never seen that short guy before.
No, I've not either. It looks like a 212 in that shot.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they've got to meet. I know the criteria is to make weight for your height, but there should also be a kind of look as well, and that's 212 to me.
Yeah, definitely. Neil's got a very Chris Bumstead's like stature, so he's definitely for both those two.
You see that all the time in like, especially like PCA classic, is guys who just do not have a classic frame at all. Yeah, like just admit you're a bodybuilder and just do open bodybuilding. Like,
yeah, there's don't have the size to hang with the bodybuilders.
And all the amateur classic stuff, it's like, oh, I'm not quite there, so I'll do classic.
Yeah, then they get wiped out by an amazing classic guy. So it's like, that's awesome. I love that look.
But that's like, obviously, looking at Keon Pearson, like he realised, like, nah, I'm 212. Like, I need to leave classic. Even though he was great classic, but you could see his frame was definitely going to be better in a 212.
I feel like those photos shafted Neil a little bit. It doesn't look like he's hit all these poses in the same time.
No, I agree.
No, it'd be cool to see the results.
Oh, these are the same photos.
Yeah, there's a video. I'm not seeing that. But again, I'm still just waiting to see in the fucking background.
I can imagine he is probably quite gutted because he was obviously expecting like in the top 5 to 6 anyway.
Yeah, no, I think he will be.
Just watched fucking Hakeem all day. It's just a fucking
so thick.
Just a gorilla, isn't he?
Yeah.
A proper silverback.
This is where like videos will go in more, don't they?
Yeah.
Like that's nutty thick. Got fucking
back. Ridiculous. No, I think Solios just shared the same ones that we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. These ones are dog shit. These ones. Everyone looks like flat, and I can't remember who takes those photos, but I don't know the best.
Yeah, you get a new camera. Yeah. No. I mean, it is a shame. Like, I think we all wanted Jamie to do very well, and I generally do think it's just his difference to how like all the other bodybuilders are looking. I think it's just kind of mismatched them in the lineup.
Yeah, he's just like the thing about Jay is like he'll be disappointed, but he's very like level-headed. So like he'll just, you know, when we speak about this before, like sometimes he is gonna need to be in the right lineup to an extent, or just to be favoured by a couple of judges to get in front of people early. Because again, like you never quite know how they've done the call out. Like if they've just called him out in order and he hasn't stood next to anyone decent, then it's hard to like think what he could look like. But you know, he's improved. He knows he knows how much more he wants to improve and can. And like I said, with what he's done this year and what I've done this year, like I'm confident we're both in a very good environment to push on.
No, I'm pretty. Every time I see you guys train, it's like the jealousy levels are like through the fucking roof. Like having your own kind of place in that, because that to me, like that kind of hardcore environment, like how could you not improve? You know what I mean?
Jamie spoke to us on the podcast about it. It was like he's actually told me like how he came to acquire the gym and the price he paid for it. I was like, oh mate, like what a fucking dream, like getting that gym for that price and having your own facility. And he's like, now I don't even need to have it open to the public. It's my own private gym. It's like he landed himself right on the money there. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's it. It's just like everything. But again, it's just a testament to his hard work in bodybuilding and his career. Like the fact that he has kind of created that. But it's great, and you know, we're all talking like I love the way like he involves me because it's his fucking money. But I'm like, oh, maybe we should get that. Maybe we should get that. But at the end of the day, like the kit we've been there, like you know, it's never going to be an ultra flex, but you only need one decent bit of kit. You know, you need one good leg press, you need one good hack squat, you need one shoulder press. Like we've got everything now, and you know, all options are, you know, very well structured, I think, for both of us. So yeah, it's
some of the stuff he's got, it's not like it's like cheap kit. I mean, it's like some of, I wouldn't say rare, but it's like very thought after kit, and it's like good stuff. That Cybex leg pressure's done there. Like that's a great piece of kit, and some other stuff he's got. So it's not like it's just cheap crap.
No, definitely not. We've got some dumbbells coming as well.
Is that hack squat? Is the pad angled, or is it just the video?
I think
it's just a video.
Yeah, it's just like it's on the same level as the runners.
Aye. Now I'm trying to convince Greg to move to Glasgow and buy a unit with me and open up a gym like this.
Hey, honestly, if you can do it, guys. It's a joy. Like
didn't you catch the podcast from Fuad and that, and they accidentally leaked the page they got all their kit from?
No.
Oh fuck! I think I don't know if he took it down and reposted it, but I got the page, and oh my fucking god, some of the pieces of kit that guy sells is unbelievable. He has like 5 Nautilus pullovers. He's got like unbelievable stuff you will never ever see, and it's like pretty reasonably priced, but there's only one of it, and it's like literally gone within 10 minutes.
Is that the one you sent me the link?
There's that one, and there's another page the guy shares stuff from, and like you go on their page, like some of the stuff they've got is just amazing. Like I've never even seen some of the stuff they've got. So it's like that, it's crazy.
So it's funny when you like say like I'll get a Nautilus pullover for my living room.
I know, just sit and watch TV, play that all night.
Yeah, just sat there.
Because one of the ones on it was the one that Fuad bought, and the boy had custom chromed the whole kit and custom chromed the weights at the side and everything. That it was smart as fuck, but I can't remember what it was going for. It wasn't like ridiculously priced. It was probably like 4 or 5 grand, which is pretty reasonable for one of those thought after pieces of kit.
Yeah, definitely.
But so many pieces.
I've said to you before, it's like obviously like guys who love cars and that, like they can just sit on like pages and just look at like different turbos and shit, and I don't know a lot about cars, but I'm just gonna say turbos. And but like you're flicking through like all this stuff and like, oh, look at that piece, but like you probably look insane to like an average person. It's like, calm down, it's just a fucking machine. I was like, oh, it's not just a machine.
You don't understand.
I don't understand.
It's like they don't make these anymore. There's only so many of these. It was in like this guy used to use it. It's like just a unique piece.
Aye.
Yeah.
Not many people understand. It's like when people like think, I just go a pure like pure gym. They've got like a chest press there. What's the difference to that chest press? Like, oh, it's a massive difference. You don't understand. You don't understand like the angles, the camber, the everything.
That's what I always love is when like I get new clients and they're like new to the kind of gym and stuff, and it's like they start off and they go like pure gym, and then they're like, oh, like it's just it's not, the environment's not right, and you're like, right, it's time for me to start telling you about actual gym now. They'll let you in, and like, and then they'll like you'll be like, where are you from? And they'll be like, oh, so and so, and you go like, check that place out. And they'll message you and they'll go, fucking hell, it's amazing. Like, just the environment, like, wow, I feel so buzzed. And you're like, there we go. Now we're ready for the next level.
Finally.
You know, I was looking at pieces of kit, like, how's this thing fucking work?
I had a new client start with me, and he trained at a golf club, and it had its own like tiny wee gym. I'm like, mate, I can't fucking program anything with that. Like, I was like, go to the nearest gym to him was Extreme in East Kilbride, so I was like, go to Extreme Gym, mate, and he was like, oh, right, okay, this is a natural gym, right? Okay, I get it now.
That's why I didn't know progress.
Yeah, it was like bands, half a Smith machine. Exactly. You go hit a fucking 18 rounds afterwards, post workout.
No, you can't do that.
No. But no, we're approaching the hour mark. So no, it's good having you on, mate.
It's good to chat, really is.
Yeah, we've crossed paths, a few times, but it was good to kind of actually get a conversation with you, because when I saw you at the universe and at PCA, it was very like a quick hi, how you doing, and that was it, and we were away. I was away anyway. I was starving.
Yeah, I never know how I come across the shows, because like I just love keeping myself to myself. Like I still feel like it's like a job to be done. Like I'm not intentionally like withdrawn, but I know that like I come across it like, and like I say, I love bodybuilding, I love chatting just as much as anyone. But like on show day, I just love like not talking.
No, we said this on previous podcasts. It's like we love just doing this podcast because we actually just get to speak to like guys like yourself, and we get to not so much me, but obviously we get to speak to people we wouldn't normally speak to. And obviously in the future we might end up being at the same show again. It's like almost meet as in a friendship. We'll just like not be awkward backstage or like
it's a lot easier.
It's just very natural. So it's good to get to speak to people that we get to do stuff with. It's just great in that sense.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest as well, like this, obviously Nathan, Josh you had on, and that like got me onto you guys in terms of the podcast stuff. And when I started prep, I was just nailing podcasts. I was loving it. And I went through a bit of a lull of like going off them. And like since watching Nath, watching Josh's, and then I watched a couple of Q&As, and obviously the Australian guy, was it Brad?
Yeah.
Like and then now I started watching other podcasts again. So you've got me back on the podcast hype. So thank you for that, because I do enjoy it. I don't know why I just sort of went through. I think as great as Fuad is, like he fucking goes through a lot of podcasts, and it just got to the point where I was like, I feel like I'm kind of watching the same thing a little bit.
Yeah. I can't keep up anymore. Like they're always like talking about stuff they've done in previous podcasts.
Yeah, now he's got the season up and running again. Like I like his interviews. Like I like his interviews with athletes and things like that. But some of the other stuff, I'm like, it's a bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm on prep, and I'm like.
I mean, they're on for like 2.5 hours, and they just chat about anything, is it? So it's like kind of left a bit of bodybuilding. It's just like general tops now, but we just like to keep it real and like even just be open about some mistakes we've made or. Like things we've done in the past, and it's like I think people like to hear that, so it's good just to get other people on and hear their stories as well.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it and keep going, definitely.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you coming on, mate, and obviously giving us your time, and we really hope the best of your season, and we hope you walk away with a pro card at some show you're going to be doing.
Thank you, and I will be seeing you guys at the Arnold's, if not before. As a spectator, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Yep. Thanks very much, mate. Cheers.
Thank you.